Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever may be the case. Again, yes, it's me, Cecil Young again. You say you're being redundant? Yes, all the above. Why am I constantly coming here trying to raise this issue that's so important to me and my family and the community at large? Is because it was an unjust act that took place in terms of my civil rights being violated by city and state officials. And I want to again say thank you to Councilman Newton, Councilwoman Anita Martinez, but also as well, super thanks to George Cruz, who was the city councilman as well, who recommended that Councilman Newton and Anita Martinez look into my unjust termination to see if whether or not it was justifiable or not. Now I'm going to have my assistant read this here document, which you will clearly see and hear what they said basically, which is to release evidence pertaining to either he was justifiably terminated or not, which they have not done as of yet. Okay, now I will have my assistant read this document, Exhibit 1.
Yes, good morning. The letter was dated April 8th, 2025, addressed to Mr. Garnett, who is the Chief Administrative Office of Mayor Joe Ganim. And it's in reference to a request to investigate Cecil Young's termination from the city of Bridgeport. Mr. Garnett, my council partner, Councilwoman Martinez, and I are writing to request your assistance in looking into a matter concerning a former city employee, Cecil Young, who has spoken during the past several city council meetings presenting his case as to why he believes he was wrongfully terminated. We believe it is in the best interest of the city to investigate this matter and see that it is resolved. We ask that you review his case and assess whether there is any validity to his claims that he was mistreated before his termination. Once his case has been reviewed, we would like to schedule a meeting with the head of labor relations, Dr. E. Ross Skyers, the chief administrative officers, and Mr. Young to discuss the findings of the review. Please let me know if there are any additional things I could do to help facilitate this inquiry. I appreciate any assistance I can receive on the matter. Sincerely, Ernest E. Newton II and Anita L. Martinez.
I thank you for that. Now, you know what's so important to me and what really troubles me is that you would think that with these being two highly elected officials from my district, these are my council persons that represent me in my district, okay, I have basically give up on politicians in terms of wanting to respond to their needs in terms of them honestly giving and practicing what they preach. And I very rarely get upset like at the point where I'm at, where I don't really want to vote anymore. And I'm aggravated over the fact that here they had two city council persons saying they want them to investigate these allegations to see if whether or not the city was justifiable in terminating me. You know, you would think as an employee with the city of Bridgeport for 27 and a half years, okay, never having a problem with my sick leave, being out of work, or all the above. I've always been complying with my job, whatever job I ever worked on. And I've always had 2 or 3 jobs, okay? And to be treated like this, and then you get upset over the fact that I would use the N-word, saying I'm tired of being treated like the N-word, okay, and then you banned me from speaking at City Hall for 3 years. Yes, what would you say? Now again, do I have to use the N-word again to what, raise that issue in a fashion where you may not like that word that I may use to cause you the kind of hardship that caused you to deny me my right to speak at City Hall for 3 years? 3 years, okay, and it's been 19 years of me trying to get you to do what they asked you to do for me this day. In April 8th, they asked you in April 8th, 2008 and 2025 to respond to this matter, to see if the city was justifiable. That's all I asked you to do. Now you see here we have Mayor Joe Ganim, all right? All right, he asked for a second chance and he got one. And he's asking them to restate him back and make him whole in terms of giving him his license back, to allow him to proceed on as the mayor or to proceed on as an attorney. But look at me. Why don't they want to consider my situation, Joe, as being the same as yours? I deserve a second chance and I didn't do anything wrong. You did something wrong and you went to jail for it, okay? And I'm saying thank God for second chances, okay? Your brother here, all of you know about second chances.
Fred Hodges.
All right, Fred, all of y'all know about second chances. And for you to sit here and ignore me and to ignore my issues and ignore my council persons who requested that you see if whether or not the city was justified in doing what they did to me as something you can't do, why not, Mayor? Why not? I haven't done anything wrong to you, but yet and still you allow your assistant, who you promoted as your assistant, Jeannie Hawkins, as your assistant after she did what? Lied to the U.S. Attorney's Office by telling them that I was a disgruntled employee, when we all knew good and well it was about me reporting contaminated dirt piles that our kids were playing on, that I feared that they would cause cancer and other diseases to their families once they played on those piles. That's all I did. I made a complaint about those issues, which I've been doing all my life. Okay, and I'm saying to the mayor, these council persons who were duly elected by the people, and one of them were me, to say to you, produce the evidence to see if whether or not the city was justifiable in terminating me. And if they can't do that, okay, then, hey, back off. Okay? Back off and give the evidence that they asked you to produce, because you have it. And if you don't have it, I do have it. I got it right here in black and white. Overwhelming evidence showing that I was at work on March 16, 2006, that I came to work, all right? Because I was warned that if I did not return to work, I would be deemed as voluntarily resigned, and my position with the city of Bridgeport hereby classified as unauthorized, and therefore you are terminated. They said I was terminated for not returning to work. I did return to work on March 16, 2006. You can see it there in black and white. This is the city of Bridgeport, March 20th, terminating me. Terminating me after. 4 days after. I got terminated for what? Not coming to work when I was at work? Here's proof that I was at work. Time card. I showed you so before. And I'm showing it to you again. And you say, why are you talking about the same thing over and over again? Why not? Justice delayed is justice denied. I should not be denied my justice that I've earned. I have a right to be sick. I have a right to take off time from work. That's what I did. I asked for a medical leave request from out of work. That's what I asked for. Here's my doctor's note requesting that I be given a leave of absence. Okay, from 2/27 to 3/28, 1 month, because of the stress that they put on me by ignoring my doctor's notes. By giving the impression because it was signed by a nurse it was not good enough. Well, the nurse signed it on behalf of Dr. Albert Walter, who was my personal doctor, and she gave the impression and told him that I was being treated for extreme anxiety, which you didn't still want to honor, even though you told me in the beginning I have to give specific as to why I'm being asked to be out. They gave it to you, extreme anxiety. They said that was not justifiable. Why not? It troubles me because here it is, April 4th, Dr. Albert Walter referred me to Dr. Wainick, a clinical psychiatrist who I've been seeing for 19 years. I deserve my justice. I deserve my rights to be adhered to. But the labor board, okay, as corrupt as I come to find out that they are, they need an ethics board too as well. The ethics board not only need to be put in Bridgeport, they need to be a state ethics board as well to stop this kind of injustice. They call my doctor's note signature unillegible. Well, that's the way he writes. Dr. Albert Walters, he makes a loop on his notes when it pertains to his clients, his patients. Here it is that he referred me to Dr. Wainick. He made a loop. The city in 2005 accepted this same loop because of a leg injury I had in 2005. Same loop. But in 2006, now you can't accept it? Why? And to say extreme anxiety is not justifiable enough for me to be out of work? Went up under the HIPAA law, I had no reason to have to even give you the reason why I was out of work. But you forced me to tell you why I was out of work for that time. You forced me to come back to work in spite of what my doctor told you I was being treated for. And here's proof that I came to work on that date. Here's proof that I came to work on that date. Yet and still you terminated me. You terminated me and said that I did not show up. I showed up. You terminated me. Here's proof that I was at work. Okay, here's proof by Dr. Evans' secretary, who wrote in black and white that Cecil will be leaving at 10:30 because he's going to plan to get married today, on that same day. March 16, 2006, I got married before Judge Paul Gannon, the mayor's brother. He married us on March 16, 2006 at 12 o'clock. I told him I would be leaving to get flowers early on that day. That day I was supposed to only work 3 hours that day. They cut my hours down from 35 hours to 20 hours. So my hours were split. So on that day, I only had to work 3 hours that day. I came to work that day because I feared they would fire me. And they fired me anyhow. Can you believe that? They fired me anyhow. And what troubles me is what really insults me and really troubles me is that the state labor board, the state labor board, give the impression that my doctor's note was literally strips of paper. These are not strips of paper, these are doctor's notes. But the labor board commissioner, Albert Murphy, called this strips of paper. He's a liar. He's a liar, and I say him, sue me, Albert Murphy, if I can't back up what I'm saying to you. If you call this, I call this slander. If I'm slandering you, sue me, Albert Murphy. Shame on you. To say Dr. Walters was never treating me for extreme anxiety. He did, and had been. He said it in his letter in black and white, that he had been treating me. All right, here's proof that he had been treating me. Look at what it says. That he'd been seeing me, and he referred me to Dr. Wayne because it got too deep for him to continue treating me because he knew I needed more than what he was giving me. So he referred me to Dr. Wayne. Shame on them. Okay, to say the patient was not being treated for what he was claiming he was being treated for. And I come rushing in with literally straps of paper. Shame on Albert Murphy, Mike Cohad. Look at here, Mike Cohad. Look at here, now remember that name. Mike Cohad was a part of the termination board. This same guy, Mike Cohad, I accuse him of committing fraud. Now you say, how can I accuse Mike Cohad, another commissioner, a man of power, a man of stature? I'm accusing him of committing fraud. Why won't he sue me, Mike Cohad? Why? Because he committed fraud. He got paid here, $525, agreeing with the termination board that the city was justifiable in terminating me. And based on this section here, it confirms that any employee, who works for the city has the right to continue their medical benefits as long as they file agreements within a timely fashion. I did thus so. Under the NAID union contract. This was the NAID union contract that I was up under. I complied with that. No, Mike Cohad, you still agreed with them, with Albert Murphy, because you knew he was getting paid too as well. Look at what he got paid. What, $700? For what, lying? Look at Mike Cohad again, on the medical part of the board. Mike Cohad again got paid on the medical board. 3 different hearings. Why did he have 3 different hearings and got paid all of this money for 3 different hearings pertaining to if whether or not the city was justifiable in terminating me or not? That is fraud. Instead of him acknowledging that, he kept it quietly to himself because he knew he was committing fraud. He should have told Albert Murphy, and he should have told Gerald Wayner that Cecil was terminated and I was a part of the termination board. He didn't do that. Why? Because he got paid here and there. If he would have told him the city was justifiable in terminating me, there wouldn't have been no medical hearing if I couldn't justifiably prove that. But he lied anyway. And thank God for the Assistant Attorney General Mitchell from Attorney General Blumenthal's office, who compiled evidence showing that they committed fraud. He proved this. This man here, the Assistant Attorney General Mitchell at the time, proved that they committed fraud. Then we asked the Attorney General, could he find out what's going on with my case? He says there's no information available. He don't know nothing. Well, shame on him. And you want to run for governor? I'm saying to Governor Malloy, I'm saying to the powers that be, give me my day in court. Now, for example, we talk about ethics. I went to the Ethics Commission meeting, 2 weeks ago at City Hall. I was the first speaker. It was front page headline, front page headline. Front page headline, big Ethics Commission meeting at City Hall. It was packed with taxpayers, business folks, concerned about ethics in the city of Bridgeport. Brian Luckhart did the story on that, big headlines, yet and still no follow-up. No reporting on the status of those who spoke at that hearing. Brian Luckhart, Connecticut Post, Hearst Media, come on, y'all, do us right. Treat the public right. And I'm saying to the Connecticut Post, Bridgeport Post, start acting like you still respect Bridgeporters by responding to our concerns when we complain, when we go to City Hall to tell our elected officials about how we feel about how they're treating us. Please, if you need somebody to help you pay for a reporter to help us cover what we got to say to John Doe public, well, please let us know. We'll do a fundraiser for the Connecticut Post, for the Hearst Media, in order to cover the people who dare to show up to speak out about what their rights are being violated. Why don't you want to respond to that, Connecticut Post? Brian, look, I've been meetings after meetings since you've been there for over 14 years. You haven't sat before the council, in between the audience, and wrote anything about anybody saying anything. And I'm saying, why? Get away from Ganem to the degree you're supposed to be fair and impartial. But no, you're so busy promoting what Ganem gives you because it makes you look good, but it's not representing the constituents of the city of Bridgeport like it should. Yes, Ganem has done a lot for Bridgeport, but there's a lot that he hasn't done. Like turn over this evidence that these two council persons asked him to do. Why won't he turn it over? Why? It ain't coming out your pocket. Yes, I want reparations, Joe Ganem. I want reparations, Joe Ganem. I want my name cleared, Joe Ganem, Mayor Joe Ganem. And thank God this is going on YouTube and around the world so everybody will know that the mayor of the city of Bridgeport, who had wanted and got a second chance, won't want to give me a second chance. I, Cecil Young, a community activist since I was 10 years old. I'm 75 years old now. I'm an African American born and raised in the city of Bridgeport. Love this city. Fought for the city all my life, and to turn around here and to be treated like I have no rights to have to be adhered to. City sheriff for 16 years. I'm not a Johnny-come-lately. And all I'm saying is that, yes, we need an ethics commission board in Bridgeport. And it's a shame that we even have to have an ethics commission board because those who are duly elected should be the ethics board in terms of doing what they were sworn under oath to do, which is to be fair and impartial. But you lost that. Once you got in bed with the Pharaoh, you gave up that. Once you begin to drink that Kool-Aid, once you begin to eat that bread, once you begin to drink what they're giving you, you begin to turn your lipid skin to something else other than what you were when you were in our neighborhoods, knocking on our doors, pleading with us to vote for you, vote for me, vote for your neighbor, okay? And we all did the above. So why don't you want to respond to our constituents' concerns, Mayor? What are you afraid of? Show me up. Show Cecil Young up. If I don't know what I'm talking about, if I can't back up what I've said about these officials, I've said to every one of them, Gerald Wayner, Mike Cohat, sue me. But I got audio tape that I'm going to play a couple of sounds from some of the people that were involved in my cover-up because you need to hear that. And you might have heard some of it before, but I'm going to let you hear some more. Here is, I believe, Jody Paul, who also said that I was terminated for not coming to work. Jody Paul, Listen to her. Okay, now you see, you just heard Jody Paul say, point blank, that I came in to work, but I left an hour and a half early. Okay, point blank is that you put here that I was terminated for not coming to work. Yet and still I got around and recorded at a hearing with the Labor Board Commissioners, and you heard the Labor Board Commissioner hear her say in black and white, and hear her personally say that I came to work, that I came to work. And if the Labor Board knew that I came to work, the question is, why would they turn around, okay, and go along with Jody Paul's termination? They agree with that. Why? Because they committed fraud. They've been getting committed fraud. Who? Not just with me, probably with others. It need to be investigated. Okay, but Mary Evans is the one who terminated me in this letter here, but Jody Paul was the one who was the second in command. Both of them was fully aware of that. Now I will play a tape with Jody Paul and Dr. Evans again, a little bit more of that.
First letter is dated from 10/10/83. As explained, I think your doctor explained it from the book. It was not the case of school. I was not diagnosed for absolute different under some like that. In accordance with the city's policy, a county of like after the 3 or more consecutive days, the employee is deemed to have resigned from employment. You must return to work immediately, or you will be deemed to have voluntarily resigned from your position as security guard of the city.
On the 16th and gave them no they accepted me on that day, and I got paid for it. It includes my check stub and my time card showing that they accepted me on the 17th, they paid on the 16th, they paid me for the 16th. There's evidence to back up that I left notifying that I would be leaving, as she stated that I did not notify them. There's evidence by her own handwriting indicating that I left. So why would we sit here and talk to you and entertain by people who are constantly trying to enforce the facts? And that's what she's doing. We haven't seen what it is. They accepted the back what else the back is showing. I'm not paying without any kind of they can't do that. I don't get paid for that day.
You technically work, and we have to pay you. However, you came to work, you're not supposed to work for hours, you came in for an hour and a half, left without permission.
No, I didn't.
Unauthorized.
Please. I left again. After 27 years of working with the city, how can I be sitting here and be explaining the fact the way she's trying to train my reputation? Well, I'm saying point blank. I have a 48-page reporting of Dr. Evans and the folks. Now, since the fact that I came to work on the 16th, I don't know whether it will confirm. It will say, here's how it is. I showed up on that day, on the 16th. Good morning, Dr. Evans. Good morning, Mr. Evans. I shall report to work. Okay. So the work is perfect. The house is changing. I did the work.
Did they know your ticket?
No, he didn't. I don't know if they did it in the house. I don't know if they did it in the house. Well, probably did. Well, they did it in the bottom line. I showed up to work on that day. I indicated that I'm here against my doctor's agreement. The doctor indicated I should be out of such and such to such a month. I came back against my doctor's agreement 13 days. After being out for 13 days, I came back within that 13-day period because I was recognized. I did not return to work. I was deemed as voluntarily resigned. Because of that, I feared I would lose my benefits, lose my job, my years of service. I came back to work. I came back to work with the doctor up here. But at 12 o'clock, I have to leave. At 10:30, I have to leave because I'm going to get married today. You know, I'm going to get married today at 12 o'clock. Joe Gannon is going to marry us at 12 o'clock. I asked Joe that day before that he married me, married me. He said he would do that. At 10:30, I told each and Dr. Evans, which is on the report, but both of them confirmed it. He just said, congratulations. Dr. Evans said, you can leave if you want to leave, but, you know, I'm not going to pay you for that time. I said, Dr. Evans, I do not expect you to pay me for the time that I do not work, but I am here because against my doctor's will. Because the doctor said I should be out for that whole month, but I'm here against my doctor's will because I fear that you will fire me, and I need my medical benefits because I have high blood pressure, I have high cholesterol, I have thyroid, my wife is sick, my daughter goes to problems. I mean, we need our medical benefits. I'm not here, I'm sick, we need a medical benefit. So we got married that same day at 12 o'clock. You see the phone transfer. So on that day, the next day, he said, I will not be on the country, but I have a phone and it goes to 12 o'clock. So you you've got some news confirming that I was there on the 16th. The 17th There's evidence to show that that was not the case, that I did return to work. There's evidence to show that I did notify them that I would be leaving before the start of the shift, as well as the end of my shift, that I would be leaving. They have all that information in front of you to tell you that. They have no evidence showing anything about the day shift, other than they just saying what she's saying to cover up the injustice. That's the act that they tried to do against me. It was just wrong.
Again, we're going to get into the actual case on that. I really, really don't think it is. I'd like to actually.
Say that you were not, that you were, that you come on the section 19.5, which says that you were terminated. Right. So that's what I was saying. And that's kind of the position in the last case. That I was terminated. No, you said you were not terminated. Yeah, what? Yeah, that's the position. Yes, my difference is that I was terminated for not returning to work. That's the reason I'm that was not, Mr. Murphy never heard any evidence to that effect, indicating that I voluntarily left at all. Even if Mr. Murphy will tell you the truth. Mr. Murphy, what do you think so? Did you report him to Mr. Murphy get her ever indicating that, Commissioner?
No, this letter of March 20th clearly says that you're beginning to voluntarily resign.
If I did not.
Yeah, but that was the issue. And the literal result, whether you resigned or was terminated, was solely on your action.
And the reaction was what? Which was what?
But that's not showing up.
Which I think that this evidence shows. Everyone, but Murphy heard that. But Murphy decided that. Let me say something. The letter of March 10th, the city refused to accept the document based on one incident. Something drove diagnostic reasons. The other one says that if you don't come to work immediately, I'm going to do to resign. That's to resign. I don't come to work. So the letter of March 20th is after the fact. Because the thing says, you replied in the letter of March 10th that you have to come back to work, and after Friday the 17th, you haven't come back, and you did go back. It was an hour and then you went back on the 16th, and they're sending a letter on the 20th. That's right. Saying, telling him to come back to work with me. So they did that, he found it. That's the fact. After the fact, that's what I would tell you. So please, they heard it good. They heard it right.
I'm trying not to talk so much about what we were decided, but I did have a talk about that might not be in the decision, that might not be in the brief, but in terms of that day, he never said, I'm coming back to work today, or I am going to return. He came for an hour and a half, but only a portion of his shift, so my argument was that was our good day that first return to work. He left that day, it was prior to his actual leave. If you go to working hours on 9 to 12, you can't say, oh, I'm leaving in an hour and a half.
3 hours, and I told him that. But he didn't get terminated for that.
No, it wasn't just solely for that, it was the fact that he had been out for a long time for no reason, and he appreciated that for 2 or
The
3
letter says that he has to come back to work, but he did come back.
And
The city did say, well, he came back, now you terminated, he didn't work, that's right. But then he sent a letter out on the 20th, I don't know when, this is the 20th, I don't know when he got it. But it's after the fact, you told him, if you're not there by the 17th, 3 days later, if you're not there 3 days ago, you're gone. You didn't terminate.
Now, this is the commission, this is the meeting with the labor board commissioner. Let's keep going.
You did it after. I don't know that. Well, you were here.
This was the only commissioner that spoke in my favor.
You can deal with it. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to us, now for us to make a decision, do we have to consider the other panel might have been wrong? There you go. It's not, I mean, based on the evidence that's in front of us, the only way we can go in his favor is if he was terminated. If he wasn't terminated, we're not here. We got evidence that saying that I believe that he was terminated, already said. Just stated earlier that that was what you didn't love you to do. So this is what I care. That's why I was fired. It's totally different. Just got to saying earlier that this is what. Yeah, but you do this up. You do this up. Did you not have this call? Please, let me ask you a question. This is not your information that you typed up. That's not the kind of thing that's black extortion. That's so much stuff. You're violating my rights. You're violating my civil rights by doing what you're doing. You're trying to force me to sign something that I did not have to sign, should not have to sign, should have never been presented to me. And because I didn't sign it, now you're saying you want to violate my rights. That's not right. Yeah, but I'm not going to sign it. Oh, now you're still doing something. Now I'm thinking you're okay, so I took it off your desk. That's what you reported, I took it off your desk. So there's stuff that was on the front, I took it off your desk. I'm saying that was not the case. But nonetheless, you have acknowledged before then that that's your paper. And you're right. You're telling me that that's what you wore. Yeah, but you also confirmed that I'm not fighting out. I'm not fighting out. I'm not fighting out. I'm not people. I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry, I'm not good. Yeah, okay. Let's try to bring this with you. You've heard a lot of information. Do you have anything else that you want to say? Chris, all I want to say is that you've heard the evidence, you've seen the evidence. I asked you to move based on the evidence, move based on the facts. Like you said, don't look at what Mr. Murphy did, but if you don't look at what Mr. Murphy did, just look at what we presented to you today, which is what you asked me for, which is present evidence that will show that I was not terminated. And I presented that I was terminated. I presented evidence to you showing that I was terminated. I presented a time card, showing that I went to work, a check stub, showing that I went to work and I got paid. I presented evidence showing that I was terminated, okay, effective the 20th, okay, of March. I gave evidence showing, okay, from her, of an agreement that she wanted me to sign confirming that I was fired again. Yet and still, she has not presented any evidence of me so far of resigning. She has presented no evidence of me, or anyone else for that matter, showing that I resigned. So therefore, why are we entertaining what she's saying? She's just nothing but fabricating the facts. Okay, so you lost the money that you should have received during the 6 months or the treatment you didn't receive. And now you're saying you want to be paid for what you should have received as the city gave you.
Now, this is the chairman, Gerald Weiner, speaking now. Can you believe that people, the labor board commissioners in this hearing, and we're talking about what the situation is. You hear Jody Paul lying right in front of them, and they never once said, hey, Jody Paul, you're lying. You're not allowed. Jody Paul sat right here before those commissioners and lied publicly. Listen to him. Jody Paul was speaking, Gerald Weiner was speaking, Mike Coab was speaking. All of them act like they didn't know anything about what was going on, yet and still they all did. That is why I'm going to recommend that the governor also form a state ethics commission board that will look at complaints and that will make something be done about these complaints that are filed against these different officials that sit in high positions.
That I voluntarily resigned. And the issue is, do I have a right for this benefit? Yes, I can record this topic because I was fired. I'm saying it, I'm showing you that I was fired, I was terminated. She's telling me that that was not the case now after the fact. And I'm saying that unless you can produce evidence showing me that that was not the case. Why are we using this conversion? Let's put it in the email. Look at anything in Mr. Murphy's discussion about what Mr. Murphy said. It didn't say it. So therefore, his decision is automatically out of the race. Yes, but his decision that he's taking has nothing to do with this matter. This matter should be based on the fact, do I not have the right to receive medical benefits during a 6-month period that I was so-called terminated?
Yeah, they cut my medical benefits off too. Isn't that something? Hell of a marriage, President.
That's what you're saying. Can you get out and show that there was a case? Where did you send the case? What you just said? You just said that Mr. Murphy based on this said that I left because I was let you know what reason. put me on my bench unless they can show you otherwise that I was not terminated. You should be harder than what I'm saying. And unless they can tell me otherwise, we shouldn't be here. And so that's why I'm saying, let us discuss and show that I should not be here. Because I ain't done. That's what the meeting is showing you is absent someone for a period of a month. Right here. I can't go beyond it. I want you to stop right there. What you just said was the agreement that they asked for a month. I was not out for a month. How are you going to make that decision? That's not, I know. A court will do that. A court will do that. Yeah, right. If you have your case overturned, you understand? So we shouldn't be doing it. Let's deal with that here. So you told me to come here, but just to do this way. I'm going to give you the best possible decision I can possibly. And I know that. I'm strictly on certain things. And I'm going to based on what you said here, that I was on the 30 days, that was not the case, not on the 13th. But I can't, I'm not giving you the evidence that they won't be out for 13 days, because he already, so why are we going back to Mr. Murphy's dealing with? What does Mr. Murphy say that I have to voluntarily resign at? There doesn't be any particular formality has to respond to that. It says that the secretary wanted us to do that further. This is an interview with the 23rd and 2nd Circuit not being in this case, the city was saying this is where an employee has been out of work for several weeks and attempted to justify his absence. And therefore I would have gotten fired, right? So therefore I would have gotten fired. Based on what you just reading right now, it's leading up to him firing me based on that opinion. So therefore I was still fired. So whatever it may be to read. So whatever you're going with this, you're leading to, regardless of what I was ruled against because I did not let me down fired.
Don't let it play.
You know, fired. Where are we going with that? That's what
You can go.
And I think we should, we want to give both parties equal opportunity to whatever. If there's both hearing, keeping us for the record.
You know, and this is the real reason why. This is the real reason why I say to you and to the public at large why we need a city ethics commission that's going to be fair and impartial and be truthful. And that's why I'm calling on anyone who's seen this show to pass it on to Joe Ganem to be fair, produce the evidence pertaining to my unjust termination. We're going for the whole hour, brother. Go ahead, I got it. You know what I mean? Produce the evidence. Why not have to form it? We shouldn't have to form an ethics commission hearing. Okay, a commission to really do what you got elected to do, which is to represent the people that you got elected by. Okay, and it's a shame and a disgrace that we even have to even think of an ethics commission. But because of the Bridgeport's past of corrupt different deals and all the above, okay, we were stooped to this level where now we feel like we need an ethics commission, which is a shame. I say if we spend the kind of time that they spent on those with those absentee ballots, those grassroots neighborhood folks that don't know nothing about what they were doing other than the fact that they were being paid to go out there to do the Pharaoh's bidding by getting absentee ballots by any means necessary, by any way that they could, because that's all that they knew. They're not lawyers. They're not no people that really came from any degree of understanding what politics were all about. These were neighborhood folks that are being charged with committing fraud or committing absentee ballot fraud or whatever it may be, which is a shame and a disgrace because these were grassroots folks people who come into our neighborhoods are well-dressed politicians with plenty of money, and they offer us to do different things. And we've done it over the years in terms of getting the votes out, and this is just another way of them continuing to keep the power that they've had over the years. Okay, and it's shame on them to let these be the scapegoats. And for an example, Wanda Jeter, how could she have gotten that position that she gotten with the city hall and to be able to make the kind of money that she was making without people in powerful positions allowing it to go on, allowing her to be elevated? Why was she elevated to the point that she did? Because she was doing their bidding. She was doing what they wanted her to do, and they knew what she was doing. And now that they're going to throw her to the wolves, like disregard her as if she was a piece of rag being used up, and now we're going to just throw you away. Okay, shame on the city of Bridgeport, shame on those politicians, because you shouldn't have to use absentee ballots per se to get people elected. They should be able to go to them and get elected based on their merits, based on their intelligence, based on their ability to show people that they care about them, not based on the fact that they can get people that can go do illegal things for them, that they know that's illegal, if not illegal, unethical. okay? And that's why I said, don't blame those who are out there doing what they're doing, because they were trained to do that and they were paid highly to do that, okay? So they didn't know no better. They didn't see the consequences. So let's not make them the example. If we want to put a law in effect for those of them that are dealing with absentee ballots and all the above, okay, let it be known, and let it be known there's a penalty to pay for anybody, black, white, Puerto Rican, Jew, what have you. It don't matter. Okay, we need an ethics commission that's going to be fair and impartial. That's why I said at the last show, maybe our city attorney need to be an elected city attorney who will make sure that he will respond to the people who elected him, not just to the mayor, because the mayor is there to so-called represent the city on one department. But when it comes to those folks that are involved in corrupt acts, whether it be police, whether it be different department heads, okay, the mayor's going to protect them because he's protecting the city, so-called, per se. But what about John Doe Public, who's complaining about that officer? What about John Doe, who's complaining about that public works director? What about John Doe, who's complaining about, okay, his taxes or whatever it may be? All right, there need to be someone that's going to be fair and impartial and represent those of us who were pleading to go vote for them. Okay, and we've been misleading our folks for years and years, and that's the reason why folks are tired of voting. They're tired of going out and voting. And this is going to be my last time voting, and that will be for Ernest Newton and Anita Martinez. After that, I'm finished with the Democratic Party or anything that looked like a Democratic Party, because they all have turned out to be, as far as I'm concerned, false prophets. I couldn't get a response from Senator Gadsden. I couldn't get a response from any of our state reps. I couldn't get a response from the governor. Okay, all of these folks know about this, my civil rights being violated. Yet and still they come on TV, they give the impression that they're concerned about our rights being protected. They're concerned about right and wrong. As Ganem said, if you commit the crime, you got to be ready to do the time. Well, Ganem likewise, okay? I didn't commit no crime. There's a crime that has been committed by those who've been in a position of authority before you got there. And you can clean up that crime. You can undo that injustice. Okay? Just like the Jews fought about what they did to them and their people back in the days, and they fought and they kept on fighting until they got it cleared up, until they got the justice that they were denied, after they got paid for and inherited of what they've been through. And I'm saying likewise, I deserve the same thing. I deserve a return on the injustice that happened to me. You got overwhelming evidence in black and white showing you that I was unjustly terminated. But yet and still you allow your time at that time of Janet Hawkins to go and say that I was a disgruntled employee, and that's the reason why they terminated me. Okay, she sent that to the U.S. Attorney's Office, who should basically be sending her on a warrant, arresting her for lying to them. Okay, when I was working for Bridgeport County School back in the days, the FBI told me, because hey, I understand you're getting people with student loans. Yes, I was getting them student loans to become tractor truck drivers, become hotel managers, bartenders. I was working at county school on Main Street back in the day for Joe Monaco, a teacher at Whittier School, who gave me a chance to go out and recruit people to get jobs and learn how to become tractor trailer truck drivers and all the above, okay? And I was getting them student loans per se, okay? But the feds came to me because I was signing up so many people on these different programs, they thought we were committing fraud, okay? So they told me not to say nothing. So I couldn't say nothing to the boss who I respected, who I liked, that teacher who I liked and respected, because the FBI told me not to say nothing. And why I didn't say nothing? Because we wasn't doing nothing wrong. What we did was told them that this is a student loan program, all right, that you could apply for whichever trade you wish to take up. And if you wish to take it up, take it up. If you don't want to take it up, it's on you. But if you take that loan out, it's going to come back to haunt you if you don't pay for it. So go to school, take the course, okay? But because I couldn't tell him, my boss, that, okay, I ended up losing a job that could have made me looking like I had it going on a long time ago, okay? But because I didn't say nothing, I was ashamed, okay, because I knew good well we didn't commit no crime. He didn't commit no crime, and he wasn't charged with none. But the fact of the matter is that he said, Cecil, why didn't you tell me that the FBI asked you about what I was doing? And I told him what you were doing, which was proper, which was giving people a chance to get grades and giving them a chance to make some decent money and giving them skills that they never thought they could ever dream of. That's what I told them. And that's why I felt like when they told me don't say nothing to you, I wouldn't say nothing, because you didn't do nothing wrong, I didn't do nothing wrong, and they didn't do nothing wrong. But I say again to the city of Bridgeport, to the mayor, even if you form an ethics commission that works for you or works for the people, we need an ethics commission that's going to be fair and impartial. And I'm saying to the powers that be, all right, give me my job back. Give me my reparations back. Give me what you took from me. Albert Murphy, Gerald Weiner, Mike Cohad, you all have committed fraud. Gerald Weiner, chairman of the medical board, Albert Murphy, chairman of the termination board, Mike Cohad, managing editor of one of the departments. All of you has committed fraud, violated my civil rights, and I'm saying to you, I charge you with committing fraud. I claimed the governor, will you please investigate these allegations of these thugs or these crooks? You talk about organized crime, organized crime ain't got nothing on systematic crime. Systematic crime take organized crime and make it look like a wimp, okay? Believe me when I tell you, they ought to be ashamed of themselves to treat me the way that they treated me, like I'm a foreigner, like I don't have no rights. This is the United States of America, huh? This is not no foreign country. This is not no communist state. This is the United States. I am an American citizen, born and raised here in the city of Bridgeport, 75 years old, fighting for all kinds of rights of all kinds of people, black, white, Jew, Puerto Rican, what have you. It didn't matter to me. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And I say to the city council, after you hear this program, improve the Ethics Commission and make that Ethics Commission be fair and impartial. And even though you may hire some individual to represent that department, you're going to still need a committee that's going to be fair and impartial to make sure that he's truly representing what he got there for. Let's not just put someone there that the mayor can control like he's controlling some of the council members now. And that's what will happen with an individual who goes on the ethics and becomes the ethics commission. That don't mean our problem's going to be solved just because he's the chairman. We need a committee that's going to be fair and impartial of all kind of folks that will truly be based on the evidence. And it should be recorded. It should be recorded. Every time there's a hearing with an ethics commission complaint, it should be recorded. It should be documented so that officers can look at it and see if whether or not they're telling the truth. So I'm saying to the Connecticut Post, to the Bridgeport Post, to the WICC, to News 12, please cover some of what I'm saying here because we need you to help us help ourselves as you have in the past when you were called the Bridgeport Post, when you were called News 12 with Frank Boris, who came into the neighborhood and did what had to be done for all people, not just for the mayor, not just for the powers that be. And Brian Lockhart, I commend you for looking out for the mayor. You should be the mayor's press aide because you're doing a hell of a job for him. And yes, when he's doing something good, you should highlight that. But likewise, Brian Lockhart, since you've been there, having nobody in the public been going to City Hall, having no one in the public been at City Hall, been heard. Now why? Because of you in the back room drinking that coffee, drinking that tea? What is it, Brian, with you that's so caught up with you in that back room with the mayor and them? We don't even see you in the meetings. We haven't seen a reporter in a meeting in years in the Bridgeport City Council. They finally got a whole new system now, new mic system, a new TV system, because they thought I was going away. After being banned for 3 years, they thought I was going away, so they redid City Hall with new mics and new all the above. And yes, I'll be there tonight at the Ethics Commission meeting tonight to say yes. Why have they not responded to my council members' requests? Why have they not responded to these elected officials' requests of looking into my unjust termination? And if you do that, God will bless you. Thank you for listening to the show. I hope that you will tell your neighbor, tell your friend, tell whomever is in your church to pray for Cecil Young to get the mayor to practice what he preach and not what he teach. And if he do that, God will bless him. And if he don't, he will get him and will judge him accordingly for what he could have done when he should have done. And then it's going to be too late. So let's not forget, it's to me today, it could be you tomorrow. Tune into the Cecil Young Show for yet and still, the best is still yet to come. So forgive me if I'm redundant of this matter, because I have to be, because they think I'm going away. I ain't going away. I'll be here for the next 20 years, talking about the same thing until somebody give me the justice I've been denied. I'm not no accident. I was called by God to speak truth to power, and he told me, don't let them get away. Don't let them get away, and I'm not going to let them get away. So thank you. And God bless you, and y'all have a beautiful day.